Hey everybody, welcome to season 10, 11 of Forging a Nation here in Iceland with the Þróttavélaga Thor. You join us pretty much right, actually, at the end of the calendar year almost, really. We're in October. The season is actually, the league campaign is finished. You join us in Europe. We have really prioritised just bringing it back for Europe this year. The league, once again, done and dusted, won every trophy possible, complete domestic quadruple again. We're not in the Champions League, unfortunately, but there are two Icelandic teams competing in Europe again this season. Hi everybody, welcome to another episode here in Iceland. As you can see, league champions quite comfortably, knocked out in the Champions League at the playoff round to Djurgården, which we really should have won, but we'll touch on that in a bit. Currently in the Europa League with 2 wins from 2 games. As I said, we won all the cups possible. Absolutely cleaned up. Let's start with the Champions League and then we'll touch on transfers and the loan farm because we talked about that last episode and it has actually really kicked off. Yeah, obviously Champions League we had last season where we got smashed by City and then by Arsenal. We made things very difficult for ourselves in the Champions League this year and we did eventually get caught out in these last 2 games. We played Meshkovec from Hungary in the first leg at home, and as you can see, our XG and their XG, we slightly underperformed, they slightly overperformed. We did miss a penalty as well. That was Schwarz's second missed penalty this season. I think that's the first time he's missed a penalty for about 5 years. Usually so reliable, but yeah, we really let these guys back in, and they actually had a goal disallowed pretty much straight after they pulled on back as well. And then we drew 2-2 away from home. As you can see, again, 2 late goals, absolutely ruining it for us. And yeah, that obviously cost us some coefficient points. You may also notice that this is the second qualifying round. We're not supposed to go straight in at the second qualifying round, but for some reason this year we got a bye. But then we had a massive tie against AKUREYRI from Bulgaria. I think I've just absolutely butchered that. The reason why it was massive is because Bulgaria are just above us in the coefficient table, maybe like 2 places above. So it was a brilliant opportunity to get some points at their expense, which we did. We, again, see what I mean, made it difficult for ourselves. 3.1 XG, comfortably dominated the game, could only score 2 goals. Valsson saved a penalty from them right at the end of the game. Could have potentially been a bit of a banana skin this. Thankfully, though, we just smashed them 5-1 at home and 7-1 on aggregate, completely dominated the game. You'll notice the tactical shape has changed as well. We will also touch on that very soon because that is sort of linked with the transfers that we've done / had to do. But then we went up against Djurgården of Sweden, and their goals, we took the lead and then they basically just scored from long balls in behind, basically. I think this goal maybe wasn't, but these two are literally just balls in behind our defence and they just basically just went direct and just managed to get 3 goals. And despite our XG of 2.75, we couldn't actually turn that into another goal. And we really left ourselves with a big ask. I felt if we could have at least sort of pulled it back to a 1-goal deficit, things would have been a little bit easier. I mean, don't get me wrong, I knew based on how we played in this that we had a chance in the second leg. And then when Lerva put us 1-0 up inside 20 minutes, I thought brilliant, and we were absolutely dominating them. But we just couldn't convert that into a goal, a second goal, to level the tie up. And then when Jardel Kanga scored in the 47th minute of the first half, it just completely killed us off. Basically, it seemed to just absolutely knock the players in the second half, and we just couldn't really do anything. We just couldn't really create anything tangible. And yeah, as you can see, 3.1 XG to 0.43 on paper, we should have absolutely smashed this and sailed through. So what that meant was we did drop down into the Europa League, where we have picked up 2 very important wins. Important wins, obviously, just for purely getting the wins, but also because Czechia and Slovakia are again in the immediate places around us in their coefficients. Comfortable 3-1 win away from home in Czechia against Sparta Prague, before a very narrow, nervy 3-2 win against Slovan Bratislava. We took the lead. They then made it 2-1 with their first 2 real shots on top. Well, there were only 2 shots on target before Schmidt pulled them back in the 79th minute, and then Matteo Arelli, who we will touch on very soon, put us in the lead in the 93rd minute, and thankfully we closed it out. Yeah, meanwhile in the Europa League, we've got Midtjylland, Arsenal again after we played them in the Champions League last year, Basel, and then I'm pretty sure it's Genoa, PSV and Villarreal. So I think if we can get a win today against Midtjylland, I think we're pretty much already in good stead for going through, but I definitely feel like there's some scope here to pick up some more wins, potentially sneak into the top 8, but we'll just have to see. Meanwhile, the other team in Europe is none other than Hafnarfjordur, who are in the Conference League, and they managed to win their first game. I think they played this team, Mariehamn, I think they're from Finland. Yeah, great to have them in there. They've already got one win on the board, and the way they're playing, hopefully, they've done really, really well in Europe. If we look at their results, we can see that they've actually they smashed past Schalke. I can't remember where they're from, 5-2 at home, before losing 4-2 away. They were actually 2-0 up in this game before Schalke pulled it back. I think they're from, are they from like Montenegro or like Bosnia or someone like that, I think. And then they went and managed to get past Sturm Graz of Austria, which I felt was a real scalp for them. And then they went past BK Häcken once again in the Europa League before they fell against Vojvodina of Serbia, and that put them down into the Conference League. Well, I think they've definitely got a good chance based on how they've started so far and the results, the fixtures that they've got. Lille aside, they can get a result against Sofia in particular. That'll be humongous for the coefficients. Because, as I said, we have got Bulgaria and Czechia around us and Slovakia just below, with Romania thrown in there as well. As it stands, based on current points, we are actually due to go above Bulgaria into 23rd. But we'll just have to play it by ear, really, and see if we can keep them dead and buried. But now it is time to talk about transfers and, more importantly, the loan farm, because as we said last time, we went on a bit of a signing frenzy, and as you can see, we brought in all these players. Basically, on the 22nd of Feb, when our window opened, we had 33 players join us, and that wasn't even all of them because we were waiting for some to turn 18 before they could come in. I'm not going to show you every single one of them. I'm going to show you the ones who I feel are a bit more important and who've potentially played more of a role for us, and then we'll touch on the important players in the loan farm when we look at the loan farm itself. So one player who we were actually a little bit disappointed with was Daniel Leinard. So he did actually play, believe it or not, he just didn't play much in the league at first. Basically, he played a lot in the cup. Because basically when he joined us on loan, he only had 4 months left on his actual deal at Nordsjælland. So we brought him in just purely to get him in the door when he was sort of young, 17, 18, with the hope of then signing him permanently. But basically Nordsjælland gave him a new contract, and then he didn't want to negotiate with us, which is a shame, because while some of his physicals and mentals are a little bit naff, he's only 18 and his technicals are already fantastic at that age. So I felt like he could have been someone who could have potentially been a bit of a decent player for us in the middle of the park. Now, we did mention Chen Xiaojian last time, and he has actually been really important for us this season as the year has gone on. Even more so with our tactics change, which again we'll touch on. A player who, yeah, we know doesn't like big matches, but is consistent, and he has actually proved really, really useful. He's slotted quite nicely into our back three, and now we're doing a back four, and he is playing at left back, and he's, as you can see, the ratings speak for themselves, really. Now, here is one who you will see doesn't actually play for us currently, and that is Marko Markovic. So I can't remember. I was sort of refreshing the last episode last time, and I can't actually remember if we touched on this guy. Marko Markovic, basically, he came very, very highly rated. I can't remember if he was one that we found on Next Gen or found through Next Gen, but basically when he signed for us, he was in the Next Gen list, but I can't remember if we found him through scouting Next Gen or not. But we signed him for a total of 2 million, with knowing other big clubs were interested in him. So basically with the view of flipping him on. And we had to obviously put a release clause in his contract because he was already highly sought after. He wanted to have that in his contract. We managed to actually train him successfully to play as a wing back, and he did really, really well for us. If we look at the numbers he was putting up, he got 11 assists, 19 in all comps in just, 26 starts, 32 appearances, 4 goals, and he looked brilliant. And then basically it was one of those really frustrating things where we had to agree a promise with him that we would improve our coaching staff, which I thought we'd done. He wasn't happy. He then refused to negotiate a new contract with us because he was unhappy. And then when clubs started bidding, he again wanted to go. And we said, well, we've got a release clause, they'll have to hit it. And he was like, okay, that's fine. PSG weirdly came in with an installment package which took it over his release clause with a percentage of sale, but then City just hit his 3 more release clause, and we had no chance then, really, unfortunately. A couple of sales that happened were Wilfried Capre, as we touched on. Valdemarson also was a bit of an unexpected one, but again, we'll touch on that in a minute. But the Capre sale basically forced us into the signing of bringing in a new defender, and we went with Fred Ngoy. Basically, scouts found him, and he's been fantastic since he's joined. Dual nationality, Czech and Congo. But he's been brilliant, absolutely brilliant. He's both-footed. Again, doesn't like big matches, but he's consistent, and we are starting to find some better quality players, a little bit more well-rounded, and hopefully we'll start ironing out those pros and those cons as we start to progress a little bit more. But great leadership as well, really good bravery, and yeah, he's been fantastic. And another player who we went big on was Miguel Castro. He had a release clause of 1.3 mil, and he looked like he had some really great signs of good potential at such a young age. At the age that he was as well, we felt like if we can get him in, he can hopefully start counting as homegrown. We did try and get him out to the loan farm, but it wasn't working, and he did want to go out on loan. We had to promise that we would loan him out. So we ended up just having to loan him back out to Spain with Tenerife, where he's just starting to force his way into the game, into sort of contention for game time. So hopefully he's someone who will develop, and then when he comes back, he'll be ready to roll. And then lastly, a player who is important in some ways because we are actually hoping to secure his permanent signing, and that is Goran Stojanovic, 18-year-old, purely again for the same simple reason as the fact that he will be young enough to eventually count as homegrown. Despite the fact that his personality is a little bit naff, we did have Sylvester Nigor, who had a rubbish personality, but he was fickle as well, but we've actually managed to get him to balance. But basically, we had issues with registration again, so this guy's only really started featuring a little bit more towards the latter half of the season, so he's not been particularly enjoying his loan spell, but because he is starting to play more now, I'm hoping that will change, and therefore we'll be able to negotiate more favourable terms with him. We have actually rebid for him because his loan deal is due to end soon, so I'm hopeful that he'll be a bit more favourable in his negotiations. Just quickly touching on outs, we did have a couple of unintentional big outs. One of them was Mikkel Bernberg. Al-Fateh, came sort of sniffing around, and when they bid for him, he wanted to go, and he did have a release clause, which we actually managed to negotiate a additional fee and a percentage of sale onto it as well, thankfully, basically just through the negotiations, and they did agree to it. So fortunately he left, and this is at the point where we started having to rethink our tactic, really, which was further confounded by the sale of Isaiah Rakagni. Again, wanted to leave, went to Damach. Basically they bid for him, he wanted to go, and then some like Udinese and I think Spezia bid for him, and basically essentially managed to create a bidding war because we'd agreed with him we'd sell him if we received a bid of 1.1 mil, but we actually ended up managing to get 2.5 mil for him, and he has got a percentage of sale on as well. So really, really good. And then obviously as Markovic left as well, that did leave us a bit short at the back, and we ended up sort of jiggling things around. We did also cut our losses on Facundo Varela, Nicholas Zander and Marquinhos. But we did manage to make a little bit of money off Ellison McCauley, Fabian Stegman and Maurice De Lange, all of whom had been free signings. While we did manage to get 155k from another free signing in Adinho, who went to Flamengo. Now, we are currently sat on 42 players out on loan. Some of them are due to end very, very soon. Some players have not been able to renew their loans for about 4 or 5, and a few players are leaving on a free. But the main ones, really, if we look at average ratings, have been a few of sort of the younger ones. But Diego Polo was a free signing who went out to Breither, so here's someone who's actually due to come back to the club, unfortunately, so we'll have to try and get him out again. Sylvester Nygård, so basically he was moaning about game time. He played a lot at the start of the season, did really, really well. We carried on playing him into the league campaign, and after about 8 games, he'd scored 2 goals, and he was really not doing anything at all. So we ended up having to drop him out of the team. He then came to us like, I want to leave because you said you're going to play me and you've not played me. He didn't accept the fact that he'd been playing poorly. We tried to offer him out for transfer, and we kept getting lowballed. And then randomly we saw a little wanted thing from Ketlovic, who are in the top flight, he'd just been promoted, interested in a loan move for him. So we offered him out on loan, and lo and behold, they bid for him, and he also accepted it. So he's gone out on there, and I think they've actually bid for him, or I'm hoping they're going to renew his loan anyway. And then a few other players. These are sort of more, I think, League 2, I want to say. So hopefully some of these clubs might start coming back up again. Matt Lowe, we managed to get on loan to Hafnarfjordur. He is potentially someone who's going to be good for us going forwards, but equally, if he does really well out at Hafnarfjordur, he may just end up staying there. And then again, it's a lot of these players are players that we just signed. Lamar Johnston, I just want to touch on, as do I want to touch on Daniel Björnsson. These are two players who came through our youth intakes, so they've been out on loan. Daniel Björnsson is developed quite nicely out at Fjolnir, and Johnston is staying out on loan at Hafnarfjordur, doing really, really well. And Haldor Arnie Jomundsen as well, that came through our youth intake as well, and he's out at Starnen. But as you can see, plenty of players making decent numbers of appearances. And I'm hopeful that, a lot of these were players that we did sign as well last summer. And I'm hopeful that they will, I'll say last summer, like, for the start of the season, actually, because it's their summer window is essentially in the winter. And most of them are going to be renewed. So going really well, and then we've got some new players joining as well who we should be able to get out on loan. We're also currently scouting a lot of the South American youth teams now as well. In this last international break, we've had our scouts going to like Brazil, Argentina, scouting all their under 23s, under 20s, etc. So probably start having some players trickling through who will hopefully be able to sign as well. Youth intake this year, absolutely trash. Only one player was recommended to be signed, and he looks like a strong wind is going to blow him over. So hopefully a lot of strength training will make him into a sort of semi-usable midfielder. He's got decent technicals, annoyingly, for a decent little playmaker. But like I said, strong wind is just going to send him flying. And the finances aren't looking too bad either. 10 million sat in the bank. Decent little transfer budget this year. Wage budget is slowly starting to creep up as well. So starting to be able to compete a little bit more with the sort of bigger European teams, and that is shown ultimately by the progressions in the coefficient. Plenty to be optimistic about as we sort of move into, like I said, I think this is going to be season 11 now, what we're moving into. It's still probably technically season 10 on the main European continent, because it'll be, oh no, maybe it is season 11, I'm not sure. I'm getting myself all confused, but yeah, I'm pretty sure it's season 11. So with the team today, we've had to do a little bit of fudging around, really, because Schwaj isn't fully fit yet. He's just coming back from an injury. He's not recommended to be selected. So I've been to play Lerva out on the left in the hope that he can do a job there. But yeah, because Schwaj is injured and because of the way the transfers happened, we don't really have anyone to sort of back up into that role, really. O'Reilly is now wanted. He's wanted by Damash as well. So he's got a 3 mil release clause. Basically, O'Reilly, sorry, I didn't actually mention him at all. So we signed him because, well, scouts found him. I think he came through as a top target recommendation. Again, doesn't like big matches, which is annoying, but we signed him with the intention of selling him on. He was wanted by City and Arsenal, and we basically just managed to get him first, and he's come for a combined total of 2.1 mils, 1.8 mil up front, and then some installments. So we signed him because we thought, well, surely someone's going to come in for him and we can get that money, get some profit on him. He does unfortunately have a 3 mil release clause. We had to put that in, and then we've tried to offer him a new contract with it out, but he was just being really sort of sticky over the wages. So we'll try again in a couple of weeks and see if we can get that nailed down. But otherwise, yeah, the team for today, I'm certainly in a mind that we're going to eventually, there are areas of this squad which now definitely do need an overhaul if we stick with this tactic in particular. Mainly the defence, so Lindstrom. A new wing back would eventually be nice. But as I said, Xiaoshan has done quite well, and we've got Ragnarsson there as well, who can do a job there. He is wanting more game time, but unfortunately, Xiaoshan is just a little bit more of a complete player than him, just a bit better technically. And then, yeah, we're going to go with Schmidt here. So Schmidt is someone who is wanting more game time, but because we don't play a 10, we're trying to train him into playing as a Metzala. His contract does expire next year, so if he sort of struggles to slip into this role, we may end up selling him sort of come January time, just to try and get some money for him. Because we'll still have a Binho who can play there, Matut can play there, but at the moment he's just sort of doing a job there for us. We've got this guy, Luis Felipe, who's in on loan. We bid for him to try and bring him through from Palmeiras. And then we've got Peachy as well, who is sort of someone who we're just trying to basically just find room in the squad for, which we can do now that some registration spots have sort of opened up a bit. So yeah, this game's massive because, as we were saying, if we can get a win, it'll put us on 9 points, which is good as really sends us sort of through in some form to the next round. And to have that in the bag after 3 games would be brilliant. But and aside from that, it would also be a really good sort of catapult for us to sort of try and even finish higher up. But we won't get ahead of ourselves now. We've got some really, really tough games to come still. So winning this game is imperative when we've got the likes of Arsenal, Villarreal as well. And even Genoa, by all accounts, are seeming quite a strong team. I think they're currently second in Serie A, and I think they're currently leading the way in this, obviously just on goal difference, because we have also maximum points from our first 2 games too. Oh, and we've also just finished our sort of first 4 fixtures of our Nations League campaign. And we won all 4, so we were actually promoted with 2 games to spare into the League B, I think it will be. We beat we had Luxembourg, Albania, and Estonia, and we won them all. We did struggle with fitness and fatigue levels. I thought he might have been onside. Thought he might have just about sort of managed to keep himself on, but yeah, we managed to get the job done. And we've still got 2 games to go. We've still got to play Estonia and Albania again, but we're qualified. It's done and done. We're promoted. So even if we can probably afford to flood some young Icelandic players, and still be laughing home and dry. But yeah, it's just a little experiment we're doing with Iceland, really, just to see if we can influence the caliber of player. Obviously, it's worked really well for us in one regard, because Alan Schwarz, none other than our Brazilian legend, well, he's not Brazilian anymore. He qualified for Icelandic citizenship and he declared for Iceland, and we managed to call him up. So not only do we have him playing in our Icelandic national team, he's a very, very good striker. He also no longer counts as a foreign player for us in our lineup. And also, yeah, I did forget to mention Gudmundur Valdemarsson. So I can't remember who it was who bid for him initially. But he wanted to leave, so we kind of didn't really have much choice in sort of how to handle that. We ended up having to try and just get some money for him. Basically, I think we got lowballed. Like I said, I can't remember who it was by, but we got lowballed by someone. And yeah, he wanted to go. Nothing would convince him to stay, so we ended up offering him out. And we managed to get just over 900k from Ostenda for him. Which again, he was a player I'm pretty sure we signed on a free. He was he was on a sort of non-contract role at Grindavik. So yeah, we got 900k for him. And you know what? It's a shame because he was good. He was Icelandic. He helped with registration rules, but unfortunately, we weren't going to be able to keep him. But to get a decent chunk of money for him was massive. Matuk as well has also had a very, very good season. So 15 goals he's on, and I think 10 or 11 assists or something like that. Anyway, he's having an absolute blinder. So yeah, we've been very, very happy with him once again. Unfortunately, he's no longer a model citizen, which is very annoying. But you can't have everything. Ooh, Sparta are losing as well, which is great. Czech teams struggling is what we need. I know Lucas Schmidt is being played out of position. So is Mats Lerver. I can't do anything about it. This is the system we're using. We're just going to have to get used to it. Sorry, not get rid of it, get used to it. Committing a lot of fouls because we're getting stuck in, but no one's getting booked yet, which is nice. Referee's obviously a bit... Oh, good lord. So, Meshkovez scored a very similar free kick to that, but it was disallowed for offside. I don't really know how you plan for them because obviously you don't know they're going to happen, and I guess the option is just to sort of plan for it and just to have more players screening across the box so you don't have that man free. That's really annoyed me, that has. But I like to have some players sort of up on the edge, for the counter. Yeah, very annoying because we were the better team in that half. Only just, we didn't exactly dominate, but that was their only shot. All half was that goal. And it's just annoying that it's just come from a stupidly little cheeky free kick. That was too close. Oh, nice. Oh, man, straight at the keeper. Straight at the keeper, that's annoying. No, no, thank you, Valson. Dear me, that was poor. Is this head time? Can you press in? Yes. Oh yes, and yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, we've got Basel after Arsenal, so they've not done great, which gives me a bit of confidence that they might be a result we can pick up there. Nice, gotta be. He has to put that away. He has to put that away, and he usually would as well. Oh, you would usually lap that up. I think we are just going to have to bring Suarez on. He's just going to have to get on with it. Hopefully he doesn't exacerbate his injury. Schmidt wins the corner. Probably he's going to go short to Matu. Yeah. No! Why? Do that. He was onside, but it does my head in so often when they do that because it's such poor game mechanics. I feel like it's really poor, like AI. Like they literally just hit it straight back to the corner taker, who is obviously going to be offside, like always offside. So stupid. Does my nut in. Oh, lovely touch, lovely feet. What are you doing? I don't know why he's shooting from there. Dominating the game here, completely in control. Yeah, we're going to have to make some changes. Right, Suarez, you're just going to have to come on and try and get on with it. Gallo, where are you? Where are you? Why? Oh my good lord, what is going on? My mouse is having an absolute fit at the moment. It's doing my nutting. I don't want to take my 2-car. I want to put Gallo on there and we'll bring Pitchy in as well. Pitchy, whatever his name is. No, not praise. I meant to demand more. I honestly thought that was going to bounce in then, like deflect in. This is frustrating. This is very frustrating. Dear me, that could have gone anywhere as well. If they'd have just passed it in there, they would have been in. And I've literally at half time tried to sort the free kicks up so that was covered. I'd have been very annoyed if that had led to a goal. Decent little float across from Schwarz, that. It was a very decent little float across. Oh my good lord. Of all the players that could have landed to, he was not the one. Livid with this one. What a chance dropped. Disgusting. Disgusting. But while we messed up, AKUREYRI only went and beat Lille 2-1. Beat Lille 2-1 at home. That is absolutely phenomenal. Lamar Johnston on loan, scoring 2 goals. And you know what? They gave them a really, really good game. Absolutely fantastic. Oh, unbelievable scenes. Absolute scenes. So thankfully, AKUREYRI are carrying the flag at the moment at this point in time for us. Bailing us out after we slipped up against Michelin with a phenomenal win against Lille. And yet that will see us go at the moment still above Bulgaria in 23rd with another great season on the cards. A 5.125 season replacing a 3.5. That is lovely, lovely stuff. And obviously, realistically, it's only going to get higher. I mean, they are in with a brilliant, brilliant possibility now of progressing, sitting on 6 points after 2 games. Obviously, there's only 6 games in this competition as well. So, in this point of the league phase, so if they can just pick up like another win or a couple of draws or something like that, they should be in with a brilliant, brilliant shout of progressing to the next round. Obviously, they can get top 8, absolutely phenomenal, but they put themselves in with a really good chance of qualifying already. So everyone, we've got to put that disappointment behind us and we've got to push on now and try and get some more wins under our belt. See if we can nick something against Arsenal, hopefully a draw, and definitely look to get some points against Basel. And then we've got, what was it, Genoa, Villarreal, and I can't remember who the other team was. It's completely gone out of my brain. But we will be bringing it back for, let's see, go on, let me just see who it is. PSV. I'll be bringing it back probably for PSV and Villarreal, or maybe just Villarreal, depending. But we'll be looking to bring it back around here. Basically, whenever qualification looks to hopefully, fingers crossed, be secured, is when we'll be looking to bring it back. So, yeah, I will see you all then. Take care. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed the episode, do me a massive favour and drop a like down below. And yeah, I've tried to keep it condensed, even though we had a lot to cover. So hopefully the pacing has been all right for everyone. But yeah, take care. I'll see you all very, very soon. Bye for now.